K-File team, which has uncovered social media posts that a Trump ally concealed from prosecutors. Posts that show he was pushing extreme election subversion strategies that could now put him in grave legal peril. We're talking about Kenneth Chesebro. Chesebro is the right-wing attorney who helped devise the fake electors plot, a scheme to appoint fake presidential electors that Republican legislatures would then use to overturn the actual results of the 2020 popular vote in key states. Chesebro has already pleaded guilty to a crime in the Georgia election subversion case, and he cooperated with prosecutors in other states so that he could avoid additional charges. Let's get more details from CNN's Marshall Cohen, who is breaking the story with K-File. Marshall, tell us about these tweets, and could Chesebro be at legal risk for seemingly hiding them?
Jake, he could. Listen, when you cooperate, you need to tell the truth. And CNN's K-File team uncovered a secret Twitter that Chesebro concealed from prosecutors in Michigan. There are dozens of tweets from 2020 that undercut what he later told prosecutors about his role in the scheme. Now, we've also obtained the audio of Chesebro's Michigan interview, so you can hear it for yourself. When he was asked directly if he used social media, if he had a Twitter, he said no. Listen to this.
Do you have any social media presence? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
No. For whatever, before...
Any
yeah.
Alternate IDs that you're using for that kind of stuff?
No, I don't do any tweeting.
Now, maybe he had good reason to hide those tweets, because they revealed that even before the 2020 election, Chesebro promoted a far more aggressive fake elector strategy than he later led on. So here's one example, Jake. I'll play for you what he told the prosecutors, and then I'll show you the contradictory tweet. He repeatedly told investigators that the fake electors were purely a contingency to be used only if Trump won any of his election lawsuits. Here's what he told the prosecutors. Listen to this.
So Eastman, he had this idea that state legislatures could somehow be effective in overturning the courts, which I thought was ridiculous. I wanted conditional language in all the states that I suggested 3 times to the Trump campaign on December 12th that they make it conditional on winning litigation.
Okay, so look at this from Chesebro's anonymous Twitter account called Badger Pundit. Literally, on the day that Trump lost, he wrote that Trump doesn't have to get courts to declare him the winner. He just needs to convince Republican legislatures that the election was systematically rigged. It's the tweet right here. You can see it on your screen. He's totally dismissing the role of the courts, embracing the strategy that you just heard him call ridiculous. Jake, this is just one of many examples where his tweets and his testimony, they don't line up.
Is there any reaction today from the Michigan prosecutors to this news? And how are Chesebro's lawyers defending what seem clear contradictions?
Well, I want to be clear that Chesebro hasn't been charged with any crimes in Michigan, but the experts told us that this could put him in more legal jeopardy. The Michigan Attorney General already charged the fake electors in that state last year. They have an ongoing investigation, and their office told us that they are interested in these new revelations about the Twitter, and they will be, quote, looking into the matter. Now, Jake, we also spoke to Chesebro's attorneys. They confirmed that the secret account does belong to him, and they acknowledged that there are some inconsistencies here. They have now gone back to the states where he cooperated and told investigators all about the tweets. But they're also drawing a distinction between Ken Chesebro, the serious lawyer. Attorney Robert Langford told us about his client, Chesebro. Quote, when he was doing volunteer work for the campaign, he was very specific and hunkered down into being the lawyer that he is, and gave specific legal advice based on things that he thought were legitimate legal challenges, versus Badger Pundit, who is this guy over there, just being a goof. That's their defense, Jake. He was just being a goof.
Yeah, you're calling him an other guy over there. It's the same guy. CNN's Marshall Cohen. Thanks for that story. Let's bring in CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. Ellie, on one level, I suppose, like, if the guy's an election liar, then people should expect him to lie about other things, too. But do you think Kenneth Chesebro is in even more legal jeopardy than he was before, potentially? And might this have an impact on his agreement to cooperate in the Georgia election subversion case?
Well, Jake, yes, absolutely. Kenneth Chesebro is facing more legal jeopardy now, and he is not and never has been a viable cooperator for prosecutors in Georgia. Now, first of all, as to his new statements, he has apparently provided misleading at best, outright false at worst, information to Michigan investigators, to Georgia investigators, and to other investigators around the country. That defense we just saw from his lawyer is utterly nonsensical. It doesn't get him out of the fact that he provided them incomplete and perhaps incorrect information. But the other thing to keep in mind is, as long as Kenneth Chesebro is out there giving two different stories, not fully embracing what he did, not admitting what he did, he is not a viable cooperator for the Fulton County DA. They gave Kenneth Chesebro a softball deal. They let him plead out to probation, and the reason they gave is, well, he's cooperating. No, he is not. He has not come clean. He is a failed cooperator. That's a black eye for the Georgia district attorney as well.
What do you make of the contradiction in just the basic question, do you have social media, where he seemed to say no, and then obviously now his lawyers are admitting that Badger Pundit was him?
Yeah, Marshall and the K-File team pulled the exact right piece of tape there. There's no ambiguity to that, and to prosecutors' credit, they don't just ask him, were you tweeting? They ask him straight up, did you have some sort of alter ego or burner account, or were you tweeting under any other name? And he says no. That's the lie, that's the contradiction, and that's where he could be in trouble.
Today, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, this is in the hush money case, asked for a gag order in the case. This is Donald Trump's accused of falsifying business records to cover up the payments to Stormy Daniels. The trial set to begin March 25th. What would that gag order cover potentially?
So it sounds like what the DA has proposed here is really